Good evening, OdaFest listeners. It's the newest episode. It's the Thanksgiving episode of
Thanks.
2020.
Thanks.
So thanks for listening.
Only a single thank, though.
Yep, single thank
Thank.
for our one audience.
Hello,
Thank you
audience.
to Nancy and Angelo for joining me as well. I hope you guys have had a good Thanksgiving. We are literally recording on Thanksgiving at this point, so
I'm very full of food.
I spent the whole
Good.
day at work.
bad.
I woke
Bad,
up and it
Angelo.
was snowing. There was snow on my car.
Did you have some kind of thank to
Uh,
give?
Yes.
I have no more thank to give.
It was the most chill 12 hours I have spent at work, and I got
Getting
paid
paid.
for 26 hours of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's always nice, eh?
Yes.
Hmm.
So here's the thing. I don't know how Angelo feels about it. I do know that he doesn't necessarily love like the shift work schedule. My whole career is like based around a shift work schedule. I like being paid for the time I'm putting in versus a time off I'm gonna get anyways eventually down the line.
I rather just have the money if I have to work on the holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather just have the money. I don't care about lieu days at all. I've had lieu days. I've worked managerial roles. I've done that whole thing. I think it's just a crap excuse. I'd rather just give me money.
Exactly.
Give me my time and a half. Give me my double. I've made double. I make double usually on stats. It's nice.
For me, I get time and a half because all regular hours are charged at overtime, and then plus the 8 hours stat.
Nice.
Congratulations on the money.
Yes. Congratulations on your really big, fat paycheck.
Yes, and I actually looked up my schedule ahead of time because the one nice thing about my schedule is that I can
it's
look at
consistent.
it years ahead of
Yeah.
time. It's mathematical.
Wow.
So I know that I'm not working, that I am working every single holiday for the rest of the year.
Yes, you did mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that means you're
episode.
going to be making money.
Yes.
Very much money for the rest. And this is a great year to be making money.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I wasn't doing anything any important anyway.
All those plans went away a long time ago, and I don't really remember
Spending
them
time
anymore.
with loved ones? Whoa. Whoa.
Disgusting.
Aw.
But hey, you've been, you spent that money. You spent a little bit of that money, right?
Yes. So because of our post-processing methods, the audience won't really be able to tell that much.
much?
But I bought myself a new sound mixer, a new XLR to USB interface, because my old one was basically the cheapest that I could get to begin with. And it was having big problems that I couldn't always pin down to a specific cause. It was being somewhat inconsistent.
Yeah, you basically bought a mixer on the recommendation of me, which was a smaller, more compact version of the podcast mixer, which is the one I use now.
Yes.
And essentially the mixer that we've been using for the last 3 years or so for podcasts when we actually did record together physically as opposed to digitally. But it's good stuff. I would if anyone who's out there, you don't need a super pro level mixer, but
So I'll just
sort of
name drop the
above
stuff.
level one.
So I've had
Yeah,
an
sure.
AT2020 microphone for a while. Those are the same
Which is
kind
a
of
standard.
microphones that we've been using for the podcast forever.
No. But it's a recording standard to use as well, so they're fairly nice most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
What I was using when I got my AT2020 up until like a week ago was a Blue Icicle. It's this little plastic tube that has XLR on one end and mini USB on the other. And for
Wait,
what it was
mini
worth,
USB?
yes, mini USB.
Jesus.
Huh.
For what it's worth, it actually did fairly well. When I compared it
How
to
much
my
did it
Snowball
cost?
years ago, I think it was $50.
Okay.
Like it was cheap. Like that's what it does. It gives you an XLR input for extremely cheap. And all it had on it, all the adjustment it had was a gain knob that didn't even have an arrow to tell you where it was at. You basically had to turn it what you think was all the way down, and then just based on the logo, how it was rotated, just judge from that.
Wow.
It wasn't
That's amazing.
It was good enough. It was good enough.
Hey, it served you well
Yes.
for the time you had it.
And as far as I can tell, just leaving it on all the time either cooked something inside of it or just increases the internal noise. Because as soon as it warms up after like 15 minutes, it just got this hum to it, this hiss, this background noise.
right.
So I actually tried it out. If I unplugged it and then had it to cool down to room temperature and then plugged it back in, usually, not always, but usually it would be perfect again for about 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes for hours, but it was inconsistent. Part of me even considered cutting it open, soldering a fan onto the power lines of the USB. Of course, that would add so much more electrical noise, but
Not a good idea.
yeah. So I actually just got something nice instead.
Yeah, why not?
So I've got the Mackie Pro FX6 V3.
What do the numbers mean, Angelo?
So Pro FX6 means 6 channel, and it's the Pro FX soundboard, and the V3 means version 3.
Yep. I have the version 2 because my generator. It's this.
It's an older
boy,
one.
This thing is probably about like, well, from when it was actually released, it's probably about 5 years old now. I would probably say, but from the time I've actually owned it, it's probably only been about 3.5.
It should also be noted that the Pro FX part, the FX part means there's sound effects. So if I wanted to, beep boop, I am a robot. I am the Angelobot 3000.
With the post processing, it may not come through entirely, but
I think that'll come through. People will be
Hopefully.
able to hear some difference there.
yeah. I wonder if you have more effects than I do. I have like 16, I want to say.
There's like 23 on mine.
Okay.
Having that
makes
said, a
sense.
lot of them sound very similar.
Yeah, some of them are similar, but offset in just a slight way. Like there's delay offsets and things like that.
Oh my god, the delay offset is so crazy. Have you guys ever like used that
Yes.
app that you put your headphones on and then
Yeah.
it makes you sound drunk?
Yes.
Well, it's basically so you need to have sound isolating headphones or something that can actually block out external noise first of all.
Yeah.
Because you try to minimize how much of yourself you can kind of hear.
Even with
And
regular
then
headphones though, you can
it comes
mess
back up.
yourself up with that.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
usually about like maybe a 1 second delay or something like that, and then
Even
you're reading
less,
something,
like a tenth of
and
a
then
second delay,
and you can
it just
hear
ruins
yourself
you.
coming back, and it's very disorienting because you're not really your brain gets confused about sort of when you said something versus when it was said, and when you're reading a script like that, it's very confusing, I guess.
I think the app also randomizes the delay, so every now and again it switches it up, and
Oof,
it'll
God.
start compressing and stretching out whatever it heard last to
How
match up to whatever the
evil.
next
Probably
delay
like-
is.
That's
I love
probably
it.
like
Evil.
nausea-inducing.
It's very bad for
absolutely
you.
is.
It just really messes with your sense of
it's
normalcy.
more of
It's
an
like messing with your
experience-
sense of gravity.
It's more of an experience to just see how bad is this? How can I torture myself in a harmless way today? It's kind of like those jelly beans that taste bad.
Ugh. I would never subject
Sure.
myself to those. Ugh.
Oh my god, me and Dio did it once, and we
Never
regretted
again.
it. We actually, one of the unopened packages, I think, made it onto the podcast once.
Wait, what?
What?
Was it? Were you there, Jay, or was it just
Probably.
Alfred? I think this was Tsurukan in, or whatever it was in Lethbridge. I want to say.
We've never recorded in
No?
Lethbridge. We
No.
recorded at Animathon.
Did we
Angelo,
record at
did you-
Animathon?
Did you happen to have these while you were perhaps inebriated?
No. Me and Dio
I
had
can-
them, and
I can tell you for sure that you were not there with us at Animathon.
no, I wasn't.
And that's the only other con that we've really recorded
Okay.
at. So we've recorded at Pockets, but there are our own events, obviously. And
So they
I
were
don't know
these.
what you're talking about.
This box of jelly beans that they were supposed
Oh,
to be.
no,
some
I
of
do
them taste
remember. That was
good,
a-
and
that was an
some of them
OFS
taste
Pocket.
Awful. Oh, you
Yeah,
do
that's an
remember,
OFS
Jay?
Pocket.
It was
That an
OFS
OFS
Pocket.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
This is like maybe
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was first season of the podcast. And so-
might have been first or second for sure.
Me and Dio expected that, like maybe half of them would be bad, half of them would be the good ones. No, there was like 3 good jelly beans in this box of like 80.
Yeah, most of
Ew.
them were not good, and like not even like weak, not good. Like they were
They
pretty
were
punch
putrid,
you in the
not good.
face bad.
They delivered on their promise of a bad jelly bean. I tell you what.
But I mean, I
I'll
would
tell
argue
you
that it's
what.
probably easier to make something taste bad than it is to taste good.
Well, the thing was like
Yeah, but
they
deliberately
made them
making bad
taste
tasting things.
sometimes like
Yeah,
what they
I
were
know.
saying. Like the grass clipping ones legitimately
Ew.
tasted like I went and took a bite out of my lawn.
Ew.
The the sweaty socks ones, I felt like I was sucking on a goddamn sock.
Oh God.
So you know what it's like to suck on a sock, you say?
I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was like a cheese one or something. It tasted like fuzzy, gritty, awful mold. It was so bad that I actually threw up when I tried that one, and I refused to touch anything that was that same color again. Dio
Oh,
tried a second one,
jeez.
and it turned out to be like a buttered popcorn jelly bean that was really good.
Huh.
And
Of
I
course.
was not risking it.
Um, actually, on I want to flip the switch and say, how was your actual Thanksgiving if you had any Thanksgiving food? Because I had
So I
Thanksgiving food.
came home, and there was some oxtail and rice waiting in the fridge for me, and it was wonderful.
That's good.
Oxtail is so delicious.
Did you know that?
Yes.
I don't
Had
know
it
why
since
we call
junior
it oxtail.
high.
So it should
Because
really
it's
just be
cowtail, right?
Yeah, because I've said this before that ox and cows are exactly the same animal. There's no speciation difference. I don't understand why we market it as oxtail. It's
To
strange. To me.
I
save
think
money
it's
on
just an
ink.
old term.
Maybe, but like,
Save
why
money
can't
on
we just
ink.
say like cowtail or something, right?
I mean, you could say cowtail, but I mean, oxtail sounds cooler.
Maybe, but I don't say I have ox ribs or, you know what I mean? Like, why can't you say beef tail? Anyway, sorry, I
I
don't mean
think it's
to.
just a grandfather term
Could
because,
be.
like, in the world of makeup, there's a popular shade of like a
Ox blood.
colder
Yeah.
red called oxblood, and it's just always going to be called that.
Yeah, but I mean that's still okay in the sense that it's just that's just like like that's just the name of the color to me, I guess. But oxtail is like because it's part of the greater like food product, and we either call it beef, and we rarely ever call it cow. So why can't we just call it like beef something? But it doesn't really matter. I'm sorry, I just realized it's weird. But oxtail is always really good. I haven't really had like the stew that I'm sure like Dio's family makes, but in Chinese cooking, it's also very good. So I
Oh,
know.
yeah. So that was my Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Some real good oxtail. Oh, and also a peach and rhubarb pie that my mom made.
Mm.
Yes.
How was yours, Nancy?
I made Japanese curry on rice. So we just had like bowls and bowls of rice with some curry, and it was really delicious.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just I needed something that was relatively quick because just have been very busy this weekend. So just wanted to make something that was really filling and warming because it got really cold today. Like Angelo mentioned that it snowed today.
My God, I'm still angry about that.
So I just wanted something really warming, and that's what I came up with.
I mean, it's a cold day. It's a good time to have something warming. I I'm the only one here, it sounds like, who had a traditional Thanksgiving dinner. Two versions of it. My mom brought me some ham. We would have had together, but they are very like COVID conscious, so I've not really been able to hang out with them so much. And she was just like, "I'll just make you something, and I'll get it to you later." So she got me some ham and some pumpkin pie and some
Aw.
baked yams and stuff, and that was really great.
Nice. That sounds really good.
Yeah, and I'm not actually a huge ham dude, but like, it's not bad. Like my mom does a pretty good job with the roast, and it's not like, I don't know. I've had bad ham. Bad ham is really bad ham, in my opinion.
Bad ham
Agree.
is just disappointing more than anything.
It's
So
like
is a bad
waste of good
steak.
pork product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really,
Yeah.
any bad protein,
like-
like when you have it, it's just so disappointing.
Really good ham is like it makes the rest of the meal that much better. I
Yeah,
think.
she basted it, I think, with like pineapple juice and stuff. It's really
Oh,
nice.
oh.
That's the way to do
So
it.
it's got some like caramelization. before that, so I had that today. Before that, I was like, I've been working a lot, so I wasn't really thinking about getting a Thanksgiving because like Thanksgiving to me, it's not just about the food. It is like about seeing people, but obviously we're not doing a lot of that either, for obvious reasons. So I was like, oh, I'd kind of given up on the idea of getting like a turkey thing going. And then I had a work shift where I was like talking to a coworker about like the turkey dinner essentially, because like to me a Thanksgiving dinner is like turkey or ham or roast or whatever. But I was like, I really do like turkey. I know not it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I do love like the turkey with mashed potatoes and stuffing and some veg and gravy all over it. I love that plate.
Stuffing is my favorite part of Thanksgiving dinner normally.
Mashed
Not gonna
potatoes
lie,
is way
I
up there to
love
me.
stuffing.
Do you
Yeah.
have a favorite kind of stuffing? I feel like everyone has a different recipe to make stuffing.
I bread and corn.
Bread
Some
and
kind of mix
corn.
like that.
What?
That's
No, not just.
interesting.
It's not just and like just. I mean, there's seasoning and shit.
There's
but, like,
seasoning.
the
but like,
basis
but
of
yours
it being
is
bread.
like bread and corn. So like, with another circle of friends,
I just like corn.
usually, okay, well that's fair.
In general.
But usually it's the bread cubes, and then there's apple in there. There's like cranberries in there. There's this really big mix
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yes. My only rule about stuffing is to not actually cook it in the bird because it
What?
adds 1.5 like it adds like an hour and a half of cooking time, which is a total waste of time. You can absolutely make the stuffing without putting in the bird.
Also,
can,
doesn't that end up overcooking the bird?
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, but it makes the stuffing better.
Does it
And
though?
that's but
I mean,
the focus I
here
know
I
you like
am. I'm saying
stuffing.
like, oh, the stuffing's the best part, and maybe it's
Yeah.
because we've been sabotaging the bird in order to make the stuffing better.
So here's the thing with stuffing. You can make a great stuffing outside the bird. Just use chicken stock as the juice base, as the liquid base, instead of if you make it from a box, or whether you make it from a box, like I don't care if you do, or if you make it like, you know, as a whole thing on its own, use chicken stock and it'll just come out fine. And once you get like, well, what about all the turkey juices? You take those and you make that into your gravy.
Yeah, you can just make that into the gravy and such.
So you're not really
It's
losing
not a big deal.
anything, but it's just you cut down on your cooking time on your turkey anyways, and that's usually a better thing.
I agree.
Fair enough.
I mean,
Um,
just from the practicality standpoint, I'd agree with that.
Like,
Yeah.
having that said, my favorite method of cooking the turkey is something that I haven't had in close to 10 years, because my dad always would deep fry the turkey outside, and that was just the best.
Deep fried almost anything.
Deep fried
is the
turkey is
best.
pretty fucking good.
It was amazing. And
I
of
will
course,
say-
you can't stuffing when you're deep frying the turkey.
You can. It'll just turn
No.
out incredibly poorly.
it would be a very bad idea.
Can you tie the legs together really tightly to keep the stuffing in?
It's not really about that. I think it would just fry the stuffing,
Yes.
regardless of what you do.
I mean, that doesn't sound bad to me so far.
No, because like it would be.
It wouldn't.
I know.
be
I know where you're
stuffing,
coming
it would
from.
Just be
It would be
grease
cool if you could
soaked
fry stuffing,
stuff.
but you could still fry something stovetop. You could fry the stuffing on your stovetop after you've made it. You could still put it in some light oil on a frying pan, and you could crisp it up.
So
Not
I
impossible.
realize turkeys are ginormous birds, but has anyone tried like the beer can chicken equivalent with turkey?
No.
Beer can chicken. I don't even know what this is.
Oh, it's where you cut the top off a can of beer. You pour about like
And
a
you
third of
stuff
it
it.
out, and then you put it in the bottom of the chicken, and then you stand it up and you barbecue it, or you put it in the
Oh.
oven, and like
Yeah.
it just
So the liquid from the turkey or from the beer keeps it moist. I believe
Mhm.
during cooking,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
I've never heard of this before.
Yeah.
it's an experiment.
Have you
I'm
had
sure
it?
you could.
Because I haven't had it. I know
I've
of
had
it.
it
I just
before.
haven't had it. Okay.
It is good. Beer can chicken anyway. I don't know if the equivalent with beer can turkey would even work because they're so big.
Right. And
Just get
speaking
multiple
of
cans.
big turkey,
Or
so
a tall
Six-pack
boy.
turkey.
I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't want to get. I don't want to get into the whole idea of doing it. But so speaking of turkey being big though, and like the Thanksgiving dinner we ended up having, and by we I mean Bayfar and I was like, we went grocery shopping, and then I was like, I explained to him like the same conversation I had with a coworker, and I was like, we talked about the individual bits and pieces of a turkey dinner, and then I realized, God damn it, I really want turkey dinner. So I decided, and this is the first time I've ever done it, but I've thought about it before. We did a convenient style turkey dinner.
Tell
So we
me.
bought some basic veg. So like,
Mhm.
we already had onions, but we bought some carrots, some broccoli to put in the baking pan to put at the bottom. And instead of buying a full-on bird, we bought like a turkey loaf, which
Oh,
is
okay.
like it's like when they debone a turkey and then they essentially like Butterball makes them. They debone the turkey and then they sort of roll it back up using it in its own skin, and then like they sort of butchers twine it all together. So it's sort of like a ham shape, but it's
Hmm.
still just raw
Yeah, I've seen
turkey.
those before.
Yeah, and it's about $15, which is like whatever. You get about a kilo and a half of meat, which
Wow.
is about what 325 in pounds.
Maybe
Yeah,
I should do that
3.25, three
next
and a
year.
quarter. And it roasts in about 4 hours. You can buy it, Angelo. I know you will be interested. You can buy it with stuffing, but we just bought the meat because we're like,
Yeah,
we're gonna
I
buy.
have seen them with stuffing before.
Yeah,
Mhm. I've seen them.
we bought just the meat version because we're like, we're paying $15 for it. It might as well be meat. And then we just bought some box stuffing and some box mashed potatoes. Like we made it the most basic version of like we're not putting a lot of effort into it to
And how
symbolize how
was it?
well, here's the thing. The best part was the cooking part. Like the food was great too, but like it takes about 4 hours to roast the actual turkey. That's fine. That's like pretty standard, not a big deal. But like when it was about 3 hours and 45 minutes into making that turkey and from like in the oven process, we were like, we have sides that we have to make. So we made all the sides in like 15 minutes. So we had our complete dinner in front of us at like after 4 hours of quote unquote cook time.
Nice.
Super easy, exactly what I was hoping for. And you know what? It was not like the most gourmet meal I've
Luxurious.
ever had, but it was pretty good for about $20.
Yeah,
And when I
sounds
say
like
20
it.
bucks, it's literally again the turkey log was $15. So it was about 25 bucks at most
That's 12
for the
freedom dollars to you Americans listening.
And
I
normally,
guess
like in my
so, hey?
situation, I almost always end up buying the smallest turkey I can because, like, between my mom, Dio, and me, there's only three of us.
Right.
Sometimes her parents and brothers will come over, but like her brothers eat like mice. They eat almost nothing.
Huh.
Oh.
Uh, and then her parents just they don't eat that much either.
Hmm.
So it's like
So you still
if
get a
I
lot of
get what I would
leftovers.
normally have gotten, like if
Yeah.
I was living back in Ontario for a turkey, we would have like 60 pounds of leftovers and nowhere to
Goodness.
Right.
put it. So
Yeah.
I have to think ahead and be like, okay, I need the smallest turkey the store actually has.
Hmm.
Uh, and for stuffing, it's just okay. We have the bread. From there, it's just shredded carrots, celery, onion, and a few dried fruits, and we're good.
And
And then from there, it's just sides like
yeah,
sweet potato, mashed potato, cranberry
yeah, yeah.
sauce. Yeah.
That sounds right. But like people know I like food, and I usually like really good food. But you have to compromise sometimes, and I just didn't want to spend too much time, too much effort. And at the end of the day, I got a turkey dinner out of it.
That's
And
Mhm.
it
fair.
was and it wasn't it was better than any like stupid like TV dinner. We were definitely weren't gonna go down that route. But this year is going to be difficult to get together and really just you're right, like what Angelo was saying is like justify getting a big bird and getting a big dinner together for all the people that aren't going and coming over to your house. So
Mhm.
honestly, I would recommend it if you're happy to have like we had some leftovers enough for about probably 2 or 3 days worth, and the meal itself was fine, so I would recommend it. I really would.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic way to have an easy Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, and I already see Thanksgiving as a less stressful Christmas. So if I can de-stress Thanksgiving even more, it makes me that much happier.
It's basically the practice run for Christmas.
Do you
Especially
know
if you're American.
the best way to de-stress Christmas and Thanksgiving is?
Not participate.
No, have mimosas when you wake up.
Oh, God.
Mimosas, nice.
Yeah. That's what
like
you do when you
mimosas,
wake up,
but-
and that just de-stresses the rest of the day. As
'Cause
long
you're-
as you don't have to drive anywhere.
Uh-huh. But no, I had a good time, and it sounds like you guys had some good food, so I'm happy, and I'm thankful for you guys being here, and I'm hoping that most, like, just everybody is healthy and happy, and they had some kind of Thanksgiving or some kind of get together, even if it was pretty basic like ours. You know, it's been tough.
Yeah,
Ye-
it's been a year for sure.
Yep.
But
And
I'm
we're-
grateful that we're still doing podcast every week. This is basically the best way of keeping in touch.
It's true. It's nice. It really does make you think about little things and how important they are. But a big thing that's important is how you sleep. And Nancy, you got a new mattress.
Oh, I did. I spent a week and a half researching what kind of mattress I wanted,
Right.
and then we basically just sprung on it. Like I think my sleep deprivation had gotten to a point where I was just like, no, I need something that will help me sleep better at night. If this doesn't work, I will be really disappointed that it wasn't something that would fix this for me, but at least we tried. So we got a Douglas bed. It's a
What's
memory
Douglas?
foam. Douglas
Okay.
is one of GoodMorning.com's many brands. They have quite a
I
few
was
different
going to
types
ask,
of mattresses.
It did sound like you bought online.
Oh, I did. I did not go to an actual store and then awkwardly lay on their mattresses for 5 minutes and trying to determine if it's good enough for me or not. But yeah, I wanted to experience this hilarious thing that kind of I heard from my cousin first. She ordered a memory foam mattress and then she sent me a hilarious video of her trying to open it and the whole thing just like sprung out of its box at her and like
Right.
bopped her in the face.
Yeah, because they're actually very compacted when they come in.
Right.
Is what
So,
I understand.
so as I understand, there are many, many, many kinds of memory foam mattresses. On top of the fact that there are many kinds of mattresses. So your traditional like spring mattress is mostly hollow inside. It's just a bunch of springs.
Right.
But they have a lot
Yes.
of hybrid ones too now, where it's like it's the pocket coils and there's memory foam on top, or there's spring coils and there's memory foam, or it's just memory foam. And then when you delve deeper into memory foam, there's like we use 4 layers, we use 3 layers, and this is the ones that we use in this layer for this reason. And the reason we mostly went with Douglas was because A, it was the cheapest of the bunch. B, it was
Right.
rated the highest for the things that I thought were important.
Like good value.
A,
This is
good
what it
value.
sounds like.
B, good edge support. So if you like sit on the edge of your mattress and you say put socks on in the morning,
Right, you're
you
not
want-
going to slide off.
you're not just gonna slide right off. Exactly.
Right.
So good edge support, very good motion isolation. That was the important one. And it rated better than my 2 other runner-ups for that specific thing. So I wanted to try this one. If it doesn't work out, well, it doesn't work out, and then I bump up.
Have you got it yet?
Yeah, so it showed up on Saturday morning,
Oh, okay.
unexpectedly. I thought it wasn't going to show up till Tuesday because long weekend,
Right.
but it showed up on Saturday morning while we were still like sitting in bed and just like waking up.
Nice.
So yeah, we brought it upstairs, unpacked it, and no, it does not spring out of its packaging. It just like very rapidly but gently unfolds itself, and then
I
it's
see.
done, like over the course of about
It's
2
not
minutes.
explosive, but
No.
it is there.
It is.
You're never getting it back in that box.
No, you're never getting it back in that box.
I'm-
But if you're returning it, they're gonna come pick it up anyway, and then they're going to donate it to a local charity. So
Right,
they're not
right.
like
Interesting.
they're not
that's
coming
nice.
to get it and then throwing it in a shredder somewhere.
I have never really had a lot of like I sleep pretty easily. I don't sleep with problems very much. Like I don't have sleep apnea or too many other things like that. Or I've never really worried too much about. I've never been in a relationship long enough as an adult where I had to sleep with a partner like often. So I've never really had to worry about that either. So most of my mattresses have been like the spring mattresses, like you were saying, or right now I sleep on like a Japanese style futon, which I love.
Yeah.
But I know that that's not like a lot of support for people. But I'm like, this is great. It's super simple. I can literally wash it.
Yeah. No, it's
I
great.
don't know. Yeah.
But like, I think a futon would have been too firm for Sean, mostly. He's much taller than me, so he needs a lot more like actual softness and support. I'm really
Right.
small, so I can basically float on top of any mattress regardless of what softness it really is.
With the futon though, you can get like it's like a bamboo support underneath to
Mhm.
simulate sort of like a crap. What do they call it in Japan? Like the bamboo flooring.
Tatami?
Tatami, yeah, it simulates
Mm.
like tatami, but it's like actually a bamboo support underneath.
Hmm.
Um, and I will say that that probably that kind of at that level you don't have to worry about like edge
Edge support, yeah.
support or like what was that thing, the motion bit?
Motion isolation?
Yeah, motion isolation, because obviously there's just not a lot to like shift around up and down.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the thing is that some people just personally prefer the feeling of something bouncy, which is why they stick to a spring mattress. And
Motion of the
honestly,
ocean, I got it.
a spring mattress was fine for me when I was alone.
Right.
So, it's again, it's just adjusting to having someone in your bed, really.
Hmm.
And yeah, so far, 2 nights of sleep have been really good. I've stopped getting like random circulation has stopped going to my arms for no reason. Like that happened every now and
Jesus.
again on my old mattress. And because it's not a hollow mattress where sound just travels through the mattress if someone moves and the springs are moving, I'm
Yeah.
not getting any noise from the mattress anymore, and I'm not getting like a whole lot of like wiggling going around whenever
Hmm.
someone's moving. So that's really nice.
I mean, at the end of the day, I hope it works out for you because sleep is important. Sleep is important for anybody.
Sleep is so important.
Even though I can like brag and say that I don't really have sleep issues, if I get bad sleep, I'm still going to be an angry man for a whole day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna be miserable until I can go back to bed after work or whatever and take a nap and hopefully fix the problems I had overnight. So I
Mm-hmm.
totally understand.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're talking to someone who went like a whole year only sleeping 3-ish hours a night.
right.
I know what it's like to miss sleep.
That's no bueno.
No, no bueno. But yes, experiment's working out well so far. We'll see how it is by the end of like 30 days, how it's really gone.
Hmm.
And if we decide to keep it, great. If we decide to return it, no sweat.
Is it a full return or do you get credit?
Full return.
Nice.
And the mattress comes with its own mattress cover, so you can actually wash that instead of buying
That's good.
a protector if you don't feel like buying one.
Right, right.
Oh, part of me would love to get a new mattress. It would be the first time in like 20 years that the
What?
bed I'd be sleeping on wasn't a hand-me-down.
Treat
I
yourself, my
mean,
guy.
yeah, and like if you want a
I just
new
don't feel like
queen,
spending money.
if you want a new queen, I've got one for you.
Oh, that's tempting.
Well then, maybe an adjustment can be made, an arrangement for where all can be happy.
Indeed.
Or
Indeed.
you buy a new mattress and you can split the cost with Dio because that's the person you sleep with, I think.
Yeah. The
I
problem is
think.
we'd also have to buy a new bed frame and everything.
Mm.
Do you?
Uh,
Do you?
yeah, we would.
Why?
Well, because I wouldn't be bought. Right now, we've got a double.
Oh,
Because
yeah, buddy, you treat yourself. Get to it. Get to that queen level at least.
Yeah.
yeah, the thing that I would be most worried about is we get the larger bed, and there's still not enough room. That would be
So go
heartbreaking.
king. Go California king, my king.
California King.
That's the dream. One
You
day
know
I'm
it's
gonna
gonna
get.
happen.
Even though I like, I'm always that person who talks about like, I don't really like having excess. I don't really like having too much room.
Yet you're the enabler.
I want. No, 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 not even that. One day I want to get a California king for myself.
Just because.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a
Oh
huge
my
guy,
God.
but I also just like lots of sleeping room.
As awful of an idea as they are, when I was a kid, like really young, my parents had a waterbed, and I totally want one.
A waterbed?
I wouldn't do waterbed.
Yeah,
my guy. You've
waterbed.
lost me.
Oh man.
Wait, have you guys never seen or
No, I know what a waterbed is, but like I feel like the two of you sharing a waterbed would just be an awful experience.
Oh, it would be bad.
Yeah.
And
And also
honestly,
Ilya.
I think by the time I was 8 or the first time we moved or something, they got rid of
Right.
it.
I had a
Like they didn't like it either.
I had a bunk
But
bed
as
when I was a
like
kid. That was fun.
a 6 to an 8-year-old, I remember that thing being the most amazing bed ever.
Yeah, but you're a
to
kid.
play on.
You're a kid. Yeah, like,
And that's
it's-
just the thing.
I mean,
You're a kid. You're like, oh my god, this is the weirdest
don't wanna
bed
go
ever.
too
And then you
far.
never have to sleep on it, so you don't know what it's actually
But-
I
like.
bet
I've
you
also
your
heard
back
that-
is.
I hear they're cold and horrible.
I will also say that I don't know this, but I have heard that adults also find it enjoyable to play on.
Yes, I have heard such things.
Yes.
All 3 of my last leases explicitly ban waterbeds.
That's hilarious. Well, given
You know,
your recent water
it's-
damage issues, I
yeah.
could see why.
Well, the actual issue is that they're just such a heavy object
Yes.
that they
Structurally,
can
it's
literally
terrifying.
cause structural damage to the house.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Too much fun. The motion in that ocean is
Is
there
no
are-
bueno.
Yeah, there are
Actually,
high
Angelo,
tides, my
quick
friend.
update on how's your kitchen doing?
Oh, it's still torn out.
Oh,
But contractors and everyone have come by. They've done up a quote, and the landlord has, I think, approved things.
Right.
So it's just a matter of them actually fixing shit now.
What's the
Nice.
ETA now? No? Yes?
It is a mystery.
Okay. Good to know.
the ETA is no.
Basically, whenever work starts, it'll be about a month from there.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
Fair enough.
Considering that one of the walls now has no insulation,
Yeah, that's gonna have
hopefully
to get
that'll
done
be soon.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it
the
cold.
longer it lasts,
we're getting
the
snow.
more it's going to hurt the landlord in the pocket.
We're getting snow tomorrow?
Well, we got
some
snow
today.
today.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't look
we're
outside.
getting
It just
more
looked- It looked
tomorrow.
wet outside, but it didn't look like snow was outside. It just looked wet. But I should assume there's snow. I mean, I know it's like supposed to be -1 overnight, so anything we get will be icy, snowy kind of stuff now. Welcome to
Ooh.
Canada and
The
October
first
in Canada.
snow of the season.
Yeah.
Rather, the first proper icy road day of the season.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's kind of nice
Um,
that there's barely any people on the road now. Because
That's
now,
not true at all.
Aw.
You are
Back in
very
like
not-
March,
very wrong.
April, May, traffic was amazing.
Yes.
But at this point, traffic is just as
It's pretty much normal. Yeah.
Aw, that's
We're
such
at
a
like 90 to
shame.
95% of what we were having last year.
That's a shame. Well, I guess
You
it's
are
first icy winter day driving tomorrow.
It's
But
the
having
true
that
test.
said, the driving back in like March and April was
So
really
nice.
amazing. It was so great.
It really was. And we'll never have it again.
Oh yeah, so I also spent some money recently. Well,
Tell me.
aside from the computer, I don't want to talk about the computer anymore. It's so much to do. But I got a fun thing.
You
Which
got a
is,
fun thing.
Yes.
Did you get a computer? Those are fun things.
I'll kill you. I hope this comes
Are you
through.
gonna kill? What are you gonna? How are you gonna kill me? Are you gonna like take some
I'll throw
silly
my
little
old-
instrument
I'll
and shove it
throw
down
my-
my throat?
I'll
and,
throw my
and
old
choke me with
computer
it,
at you.
and then you'll like shove your hand down my throat and play the instrument and be like pling 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 pling
Yes.
pling, pling, like you're playing a kalimba in my throat.
Perhaps.
Damn.
Yay.
I love kalimbas.
Can you play Saria's song?
What? Which song?
Saria's song.
I don't have that one yet, but I know. Wait, hold on. Actually, I
How
can't
about
play.
Lost
I can play a
Woods?
Legend of Zelda song. I can't play a Legend of Zelda song because they're fairly easy, and I've only had it for a couple of days, so I'm trying to slowly figure things out. But hold on.
Okay.
Hopefully, yeah, we don't have to worry too much about copyright. I think.
So, hold up. How
What?
long have you had the kalimba for? How did you get it?
Like 2 days.
And
I bought
how
it online.
expensive was it?
$40.
Ah, that's doable.
It goes up to like it can be up to like $100 or so, but for like entry level stuff. So
Correct me if I'm wrong. A kalimba is basically just like a little wooden thing with metal, like springy things
Yeah,
coming out
tines.
of it, and you just and you just like spring the tines with your thumbs.
Angelo, have you ever
very
seen the inside of a music box?
it's
Yes.
It's
essentially a
basically
music
those
box, yeah.
exact same tines but bigger,
Yes.
and you play it with your thumbs.
Exactly.
Instead of having a rotating drum with little
Um,
tines to tine the tines with.
Yeah.
But talking about like the actual like purchase, so there's the where I got it off of, there were like lots of different options, but I wanted a lot of them came with like cloth cases, and I didn't really want a cloth case because I just felt like that was not very useful as a case for to protect an instrument. So the one that I bought actually came with like a hard shell sort of case. They always will come with a tuning hammer, and it
Nice.
even came with a digital or not digital, it came out with like an output, like a recording output. Like
Oh wow.
I can attach a sort of
Like
I
an
don't know what
amp
to
of
call
sorts?
it.
Is it
Sort
an
of.
acoustic pickup?
It's essentially an acoustic pickup, yes.
Okay.
But like you can buy them with acoustic pickups in them, like an acoustic jack.
You can buy an electric kalimba.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of
But
neat.
That exists.
but I picked one that was
Actually,
just
why
a box,
wouldn't it exist?
and then you can just put essentially an
Okay.
acoustic pad that acts as a pickup with like if you have a 7.62 whatever jack, the large jack, the three and a half. No, not 3.5.
6.5 millimeter, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, can I assume this one's small enough to hold in your hands and you play with your thumbs?
Yes, but your hands are small.
Yeah, but just as an estimate
They
of
fit
size, because
mine.
kalimbas can
Yes.
come in like very large
Mine's-
sizes or very small.
I don't know. Mine's probably about 7
So you
inches
tune it
high.
with a hammer.
Yes, you do. Any
That's
any
pretty metal.
instrument that you can use a hammer with is great.
Yeah, that's pretty metal.
But yeah, wait,
That's
hold.
the
Like I said,
worst
I
pun.
can play a bit of. Excuse me if I get any of the notes wrong, but I know that at least the basic bits, which is I believe this is the Song of Time. Nope, that's not it. It goes.
I was hearing it.
No, do. I don't have perfect pitch. I can only play with relative pitch, so it takes me a minute to figure things out. But anyway, that's most of it. It's just the.
You make me want to buy one and start learning music from Avatar.
You got to get that Song of Storms going for when it starts snowing real bad.
So funny thing
No.
is, I totally played the Song of Storms yesterday, and it did snow today. So
This
You
is all
asshole!
your
It's your
fault.
fault.
coincidence? I did play it. Yeah, I found some tabs. Lots of tabs are online. There's Reddit
Nice.
as well. There is Avatar songs. There's Zelda songs, of course. I learned a little bit of like River Flows in You, like that sort of intro.
Cute.
Uh, no. Do, do, do. Yeah. Anyway, good enough. Like I said, I've had it for a little bit. I've played maybe, I would say a total of like 2 hours, 3 hours of fiddling around with it, but it is pretty fun. It's an easy enough instrument to pick up, and I don't know, it's just fun to
Relatively
have something
small
creative.
compared to other instruments.
Yeah, if you like, I understand people always want to be like, I'm gonna learn guitar or piano, and
Yeah.
like that's much more expensive,
Mhm.
a lot more time intensive as someone who has learned guitar, and like overall, I don't know. I think it's just something that's a little bit more casual, and they usually sound
Yeah.
just like it's
I
usually fun to pick up.
adore the sound of a
A
kalimba.
musical instrument the
Yeah.
size of a Game Boy is way more practical than most musical instruments.
It's true.
Yeah, no.
Like, I think a harmonica is probably the only thing that really gets down to that size and is
Yes.
that useful.
And as instruments really go, like you don't the difference between like a harmonica or any sort of woodwind instrument, for example, that's small, but you still have to learn how to play the notes. Technically speaking, with a kalimba, you don't need to learn how to play the notes. You just need to know what notes to play, and that. Like you can still learn how to do chords and everything like that. There's still major chords, minor chords that you can play, but on the whole, you already know what those are. They're even labeled on the tines themselves, and you can sort of pick at it and figure it out, or you can just
Nice.
learn it traditionally or whatever. But again, you don't have to learn the notes. The notes are right there. You don't have to be like, this is G, this is G sharp, this is like major
I can appreciate
C
that.
or anything like
That's
that.
why I play the drums.
Yeah.
I
that
just
makes
have
sense
to
too.
know when to hit. When do I hit with stick, and
That's literally
do I
it.
go hard with stick or harder?
Yeah, and that's literally you can do that with the kalimba, except you don't have to think about even how hard you have to hit it. You can do like flourishes. Like you can drag your thumb across like a few notes, and it sort of makes like that, like that.
Oh, nice.
Like it's all there. So I would recommend it as a very simple pickup Like it still takes time to learn, and I need to figure out how to play it better overall. But it's a very like it's been very fun, and I've wanted one for like years. But I just thought, fuck it, I'm buying one now.
I've been watching so many YouTube videos of kalimba players, and I'm just like, I want one, but will I actually stick with it? Probably, considering how
Was it
portable
Windows
it is.
7
Yes,
that came with a track called Kalimba?
I don't know.
maybe.
I think it was. And
take your word
I
for it.
had never heard of a kalimba before that.
Yeah, I mean, they're still sort of not that well known, but I think most people like the sound because you're right, it does sound like it's a music box sound, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
and
I
again-
love that sound.
For 40 bucks, 50 bucks, 60 bucks in terms of like an instrument, not a bad pickup, not at all. Would recommend. And that might have made
We'll
of
we'll
wood.
be looking forward to adding it to a wish list of sorts.
Yeah, you can. There's also different types. I only learned about it like fairly recently, but there's like these ones called like flat back types where there's no. Mine has a hollow, like it's a traditional acoustic style instrument, but there's also ones that are just flat backed, and they're like they come in cuter designs and stuff because they don't have that hollow that have to built in. So like they come in like they sort of look like a cat head or something like that. They sort of just look cuter, but their sound is also different because you don't get that same resonance. I wanted something with a hollow, even though maybe how do I put it? Some of the notes are harder to play, but that's just the consequence of that. I don't know how to put it. I'm not an expert yet, boys, but I'll get there. And I will have Kalimba
Excellent.
concert featuring Kalimba in 2020 December. I don't know. I'm not. Why am I making promises? Promises are
Yes.
bad.
Man, hosting a thing in 2020 December? Whoa, that's a bad plan, man. I
That's
thought
not
we
true.
got over that last podcast.
That's
you
not
can't
true.
have events this year.
That's not true. I can host an online concert.
You can
You're just
stream
going to.
on Twitch.
You are going to be the top Twitch kalimba player.
Yes, there you
I
go.
really
Kalimba
hope
streamer.
not.
You should do it.
Mine.
Is it kalimbaist? Like I'm trying to. It's
Kalimbist?
like kalimbit. Like
Like
what,
there's a
what's the
flautist or pianist or
guitarist,
Kalimbinator?
violinist.
Kalimbor.
Like
Wait, what's the name of World of Warcraft? Kalim something.
If it's a tromboner, Kalimbaner?
I
Oh, no.
mean, sure. Kalimdor, that's what it is. World of Warcraft. Their map is called Kalimdor, or part of the world's called Kalimdor. I don't remember. But anyway, that's all I have. I wanted to
An
share.
entire door turned into a kalimba
Amazing. You could.
and then
I
made
look
into
forward
a
to
You
continent.
your
you
kalimba
absolutely
concert.
could.
That would be a bass kalimba. It's
That
for
would be
the
like a
deep
triple
tones.
bass. That would
It's
be
for
like
hitting the brown note with a kalimba.
It would be insane. But yeah, it was good, and I
Nicely
recommend.
done.
Don't have anything else to contribute now. It is like 11 p.m. and we didn't mention it at the beginning of the podcast, but this is another sleepy edition. Cause
We've made that joke for like the last two podcasts.
no, the other one wasn't
Around.
sleepy edition.
We had Sleepy Edition and we had Late Night Edition.
exactly. Those are different.
This is Red Eye Edition.
This is not red eye. 11 is not red eye.
It is if you're old.
Who is old? Nobody's old. We don't
We're-
have.
I'm old.
We'll all be 24 forever.
I feel old.
Actually, if you had to if you had to choose, what age would you choose to stay forever at?
Just like
Considering
biologically
that I
or
was-
mentally?
Yes.
Okay, that's a hard question.
I just realized it now.
What?
This morning I was literally Old Man Yells at Cloud.
How
Why?
did you do that?
It was snowing!
Oh.
Wow.
I am literally Old Man Yells at Cloud. How horrible.
Oh no, you poor soul. Like, I don't know, Jay. I was probably at my most physically fit at 25, so I'd probably want my body to stay 25. Mentally, I think I like myself a lot more how I am now.
Right, but I would always like people would always say that kind of thing where like I I wish I would have like the mental capability of sort of being a little bit older, but I don't want to like if you get to choose that, that's so like optimal or whatever.
It totally is.
I think it would be better if you like your both your mental and your physical age are the same thing. So I would, in my case, it would probably be around that same like around 25, 26, maybe the lowest I would go is 23. I think.
Yeah.
23 was fine.
I'd totally go to 20 or 22.
I would not go into my teens or tweens for that.
Oh hell no, 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 I'm
no,
not
no,
my
no, no,
teens.
no, no.
I'm going just before I started balding.
That's fair. I just want
And
to
you
be.
had long flowing locks.
I just want to be clearly past puberty.
Yeah, that's fair.
Agree.
So 23 to 25 is like a good range for that. But I don't really have anything else past that. Like I don't know what my 30s are going to be like. I don't hate 30 right now, but I would probably like to be 28 if I had to choose.
I literally feel no different mentally than when I was 25.
Well then.
I'm a little more jaded, I think, than I was when I was 25.
I gotta be the same as Angela. I don't think I've changed too much from. Like I've changed in how I approach things, but that's experience. But like mentally how I do things, I'm like that's probably not much difference from when I was 24.
The only difference between me when I was 25 and me now is that when I was 25, I didn't think I was as old as I was, and now I think I'm a lot older than I actually am.
That's worse.
Oof.
That's worse.
You swung it the other way
All right.
quickly.
That's on that note.
It's
that's nice
just
and
a
depressing.
swinging pendulum. Pendulum swings one way and the podcast starts. It swings the other way and the podcast ends.
All
and
right.
then somewhere in the middle we meet.
Fair
And
enough.
then we start again next week.
We will.
Exactly.
But for this episode, I think we're good. So thank you again for joining us, and hope you all had a good holiday weekend, and hopefully we'll have a good Halloween coming up, I guess. We'll talk about that later. Until then, take care.
Good night, everybody.
Old man goes to bed to yell at cloud in the morning.
I think Dio would be mad if you yelled at Cloud. Goodbye.
Oh, we've made yelling at cloud jokes before,
I'm
like
sure you have.
freaking Cloud Strife. Absolutely.
Okay, goodbye.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.